We'll call this meeting of the Ag Appropriations Subcommittee to order. And I want to begin by thanking Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins, for being here today. We appreciate you being here. We also appreciate you getting out and about around the country as you have and getting a chance to meet with our great farmers and ranchers in our respective states. So thanks so much for that as well. I'm very pleased to be joined by Senator Jeanne Shaheen. As you can tell, she is very young, but she and I were actually governors together.
We were both very young.
Starting about 25 years ago, when she was a teenager and I was not as old as I am now. And so we've had opportunity to work together as governors, and we work together on various appropriations committees like Homeland Security and others. And I just want to welcome her in this new role as the ranking member on the Ag Appropriations Committee, and just express how much I appreciate her and working with her. So welcome, and really good to have you on the committee. Also, we're joined by our chairman of the Full Appropriations Committee, who also we've worked together a long time, and she's providing a strong leadership for the Appropriations Committee and doing everything in her power to see that we get back to regular order. And so I would pause here for just a minute and ask if our chairman would like to make a few comments. Chairman Collins.
I just want to say that I am absolutely delighted that Senator Hoeven is chair of this committee and that Senator Shaheen is the vice chair. That means this subcommittee is in very good hands, and we welcome the secretary.
Thank you, Chairman. Again, Secretary, thanks for being here today. We appreciate you and appreciate you being here right away to talk about this Ag Appropriations budget. You had a great chance out in North Dakota, and I know you've been to other states as well, to see what our farmers and ranchers are doing out there firsthand. But I know you really don't, that's not new to you, having grown up on a ranch, which is incredibly important that you have that background, and then having gone to Texas A&M and ag school.
Well said. Thank you.
And a very good one at that. And they play reasonably good football, too, last I checked.
Until November, but yes.
Yeah. Well, and we are pleased that you're getting out and about like you are, and that you're with us here today.
Thank you.
Obviously, our farmers and ranchers across the country are dealing with a lot of challenges right now. They always deal with challenges, whether it's markets, whether it's prices, and certainly always the weather, none of which they control. So it's vitally important that we do a good job for them in our farm program, but also in the things that we do here in the Ag Appropriations Committee, as well as the countercyclical safety net and the other things that we think of, crop insurance, that our farmers and ranchers need every day to stay in business. Mm-hmm. And we can't, as you and I've talked about before, we have in agriculture about 16 million people that work either directly or indirectly in agriculture. We have a system of small businesses out there in farming and ranching, family-based small businesses that produce the highest quality, lowest cost food supply in the world that benefits every single American every single day. And we as Americans spend less on our food and have the best food and the best choice, and we spend less as a percent of our budget than pretty much any developed country in the world, brought to us by our family farms and ranches, and that we can't take that for granted. Yeah. There's so much concentration in so many industries, and we have to recognize that it's not by accident that we have this great system. And so good farm policy is so important to keeping that, and it benefits every single American. Well, you were out in our state, you saw North Dakota State University and the incredible work that our land-grant universities do, like A&M, and many others. But you also got to see the amazing new technology that's coming with precision ag. Mm-hmm. Grand Farm example that we showed you out there of really leading the world with precision agriculture, as well as the research and so forth that's being done in tandem with land-grant universities through NIFA, ARS, your research function, and our farmers and ranchers, which has revolutionized agriculture. When I grew up in western North Dakota, we could grow a couple row crops. Now our state grows 40 different crops, and we lead the country in about 15 of them, which we try to rub into South Dakota as often as we can, because they do great stuff too. And we appreciate all of our ag states very much. So again, that's what we're talking about here today. And so the funding for these programs, when we talk to you about FSA and all these things, out on the ground, we've got to make sure we're getting it done for our farmers and our ranchers every single day. So we want to find savings. We want to work with you to find savings, but we got to know that we're still going to deliver that service that keeps those family businesses, those farms and ranchers going every single day to the benefit of every single American. So again, thanks for being here so much, and I'll turn to our ranking member, Senator Shaheen.
Thank you,
Well,
Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I would just echo your comments about how nice it is to work together again. Thank you for those very nice remarks. Secretary Rollins, thank you for coming before the committee. I think it's helpful as we think about questions today to take stock of where we are and how we got here more than 100 days into this administration, because we all know that our farmers, producers, and rural communities are no strangers to uncertainty, to pressure from outside of their control, from fluctuating commodity prices to rising output costs to a rapidly changing climate and more extreme weather events. But what I've heard from farmers in New Hampshire is that the federal government has always been a critical partner that our farmers could rely on. That is until now, sadly, because what I've heard from farmers over the past 100 days of this administration is that they're not sure they can trust the federal government anymore. I've heard from farmers across our state who no longer know if they can rely on the federal government honoring a basic signed contract. And I've heard in great detail from all kinds of farms in New Hampshire, New England, where the weather is very problematic. Anything that contributes to that disruption is challenging. Rural communities can't be certain if their small businesses and operations will survive the added costs of tariffs on top of the other uncertainties. Farmers risk losing hard-fought market access due to President Trump's trade war. And I'm sorry that we had not yet received the FY26 budget when we were preparing for this hearing, because the limited information that I've seen to date has been extremely disappointing. The proposed budget top lines released last Friday fall well short of the president's purported commitments to farmers and rural communities. I don't believe that we support farmers by gutting research that will boost yields and improve crop quality. And I don't believe we put rural America on a path to thrive by slashing core rural development programs, from housing to water and waste infrastructure to energy assistance. And when grocery prices are too high, we don't help families put food on the table by undercutting vital nutrition programs. Yet that's exactly what this skinny budget would do. I hope that we'll have a chance to move forward with bipartisan appropriations with a serious non-defense discretionary number that reflects the urgent needs that are facing families and communities in New Hampshire and across this country. Because there are plenty of places where we can work together to ensure that these programs deliver for producers in rural America, from investing to supporting programs that help local food systems thrive, to investing in cutting-edge research that will allow our farmers and ranchers to feed our nation and the world. So again, I appreciate your being here today, Secretary Rollins, and I look forward to the discussion. Thank you, Chair.
made a tremendous amount of sense, but never was meant to continue indefinitely. And specifically to Oregon, of the $2 million under the LFS program and the $7 million under the LFPA, Oregon has $330,000 left in the first and $5 million left in the second. Almost every state was asking for contract extensions because they couldn't spend the money quickly enough. So I think it just goes to the balance we have to strike every single day on ensuring that every taxpayer dollar is spent to the
benefit of every single American. So again, thanks for being here so much, and I'll turn to our ranking member, Senator Shaheen.
Thank you,
Well,
Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I would just echo your comments about how nice it is to work together again. Thank you for those very nice remarks. Secretary Rollins, thank you for coming before the committee. I think it's helpful as we think about questions today to take stock of where we are and how we got here more than 100 days into this administration, because we all know that our farmers, producers, and rural communities are no strangers to uncertainty, to pressure from outside of their control, from fluctuating commodity prices to rising output costs to a rapidly changing climate and more extreme weather events. But what I've heard from farmers in New Hampshire is that the federal government has always been a critical partner that our farmers could rely on.